Is it worth it to buy altcoins right now? And this is a question you should be asking yourself, as most altcoins are 75 to 95% on discount right now. However, altcoins could continue to plummet even further than you can imagine. And most of these altcoins, the sad reality is that they will not be making a new all-time high ever again. Thousands and thousands of cryptocurrencies were made in the past few years, and the reality is only a small percentage of these coins will actually be making a new all-time high. In this specific video, I'm going to talk about, is it the time to start buying altcoins right now? And if so, when is the actual right time to start buying altcoins? And at the end, I'm going to show you 5 altcoins that I'm starting to accumulate right now. Hi, my name is Adam Winnig, and I've been involved in cryptocurrencies since 2014, and I created this channel to help make your crypto journey easy, lucrative, and fun. So in order to know if it's the right time to start buying altcoins, you first need to understand the crypto money flow cycle of how money flows in crypto. So generally the way that this works is that money starts in either stable coins or fiat, or they start in Bitcoin, as you can see here in phase 1. And as money starts to flow into Bitcoin, this causes the price of Bitcoin to actually start surging. Now, after the price of Bitcoin starts surging, there's this group of people that are like, oh, dang, I missed out on Bitcoin. And they start flowing their money into major altcoins like Ethereum and maybe some of the other top 10 altcoins, but mostly into Ethereum. And what happens here is Ethereum starts outperforming Bitcoin. This is where people start talking about Ethereum potentially flipping Bitcoin. And what starts to happen at this point is we see that people make their money on Ethereum, and they see that maybe the gains aren't made to be made in Ethereum anymore, or maybe they missed out in Ethereum. And so they start rotating that capital into large cap altcoins. This could be like your top 20 or your top 50 altcoins. And we see that these altcoins actually start to go parabolic. And then the last phase of this season is after the large cap altcoins have started to pump, then money will rotate into smaller cap altcoins. And this is once the large caps have actually started to go viral, they've gone parabolic. Then it moves to mid caps, then low caps, right? And this is kind of the flow. And then after these altcoins start pumping, which we saw recently, like all these smaller altcoins pumped and had these crazy gains, then this means that the cycle is likely to go on back towards Bitcoin, towards some sort of safer asset. And then this cycle continues over and over and over again. So with that being said, it's really not the right time to start buying altcoins until we see this Bitcoin and Ethereum pump. And at this time, we have not seen the Bitcoin and Ethereum pump. If we take a look at the Bitcoin chart here, we can see that the $20,000 support is a major area of support. Why? Because this was the previous resistance in the previous cycle. We barely went up and touched $20,000. So you can imagine this is not only a strong psychological whole number, 20,000, but also this was a previous all-time high. Now, if we just go ahead and we take a look here, there's no apparent Bitcoin pump that's happened at this point. So my thinking is that, if we look at the cycle that we just talked about, right, you really shouldn't start buying altcoins until we've seen the Bitcoin pump starting to happen. And we just don't see any evidence of that happening. Now, with that being said, where could this potential bottom be? It could be $20,000, right? The previous all-time high was $20,000. It's definitely holding up here. And if we take a look at, some other things, if we take a look at, for example, the volume profile. So I like looking at the volume profile because this is showing where the most amount of Bitcoin were purchased at each price interval. And if you see here, if $20,000 doesn't hold, then it looks like the next price could be like around $12,000. Now, I'm not saying that necessarily we're going to crash to $12,000. I don't have a crystal ball, but that would be the next place. If $20,000 doesn't hold, then we could see it come down to $12,000. And if you just look, not saying this is necessarily relevant, but history does tend to rhyme, right? And last market crash, we saw an 83% drop in Bitcoin. And so if that happens again, 83% would lead us right around $12,000 as well. So that's just something to take into consideration. And I'd like to know what your thoughts are, right? Do you think that the bottom has happened here? Comment below with a B if you think that Bitcoin has bottomed, or put an N below if you think that is not yet bottomed and we could see lower. And let me know your price predictions in the comments below. I'd be curious to see what everyone thinks. And this could also be a way to gauge sentiment for you guys. So with that being said, the reason why, I think we could be near to the bottom, and then I'll talk about the 5 different altcoins that I'm accumulating and when to actually start accumulating altcoins. But if we take a look at this, what's caused this major crash? Well, first things first is we saw the Terra Luna UST explosion that happened, which caused a really sharp downtrend. Obviously, that thing just completely blew up. It was a black swan event that nobody saw coming. And then what we saw happen after that was we saw these centralized lenders that started to get liquidated. They were over leveraged. We saw Celsius that have halted withdrawals, way over leveraged. We saw Three Arrows Capital, same sort of thing. So these big centralized parties have now gotten liquidated. And Sam Bankman-Fried, of the CEO of FTX, recently came out and he said that most of the major players, if not all of the major players that were on the verge of liquidation, have already been liquidated or been taken care of. So he doesn't say that there's any more big centralized parties that are likely to get liquidated, which is actually really good news. So maybe we don't see super sharp downturns anymore based on that evidence, but we don't know. And so the interesting thing about that is, right, centralized parties really got screwed, but all of the decentralized lending platforms like, Aave, for example, they're pretty much unaffected and they worked perfectly throughout all of this craziness. Now, with that being said, I'm actually not going to really start accumulating many altcoins until we see Bitcoin starting to pump. Number one is a factor, but the second thing, which I think is going to cause Bitcoin to pump, is the change in interest rates, right? In March, we had the rise of interest rates, which definitely is not good for risk assets. If you know how interest rate works, when the interest rates go up, generally that's bad for risk assets. If interest rates go down, generally good for risk assets is generally how it works. And the reason being is because when interest rates are high, money is more expensive. And so people aren't taking as many risks. And we see that happening with the home market as well right now. As interest rates rise, less people are going to be able to afford houses. So with that being said, we don't know exactly when this could be. It could be, early into 2023. It could be a few months from now. We don't know exactly. But I think that Bitcoin will start to pump after we see the lowering of interest rates again. So money becomes cheaper. And after that, after Bitcoin starts pumping, then I think is the time to actually start accumulating altcoins. But at the same time, right, accumulating altcoins that are 95% down, this is the chance to make life-changing gains, right? And either you're going to be a little too early or you're going to time it pretty good and have the chance to make life-changing gains. And a lot of that depends on your specific time frame, right? If you can hold these altcoins for the next 4 years or so, then, and they do actually perform well and they do actually survive, then this could be the moment for life-changing gains. So with that being said, there's currently 5 altcoins that I'm really going to begin accumulating during this bear market, which I talk about in this report here. All you need to do is come over to Blue Edge Crypto on Instagram, DM me the word bear, and I'll actually send you over this free report. It's the 5 altcoins that I think have the highest chance of surviving and actually thriving and going parabolic once the bear market is over. So come on over to Blue Edge Crypto again, follow us and send us the word bear, and I'll send you this report for free. There's no cost. And I give a breakdown of what are my top 5 altcoins that I'm going to be accumulating and why. If this video was at all helpful, then go ahead and like, subscribe, and turn on the post notifications so that way you don't miss any future videos.